Hi guys, it's Miss Campbell. You have your Romeo and Juliet essay, even though you're at home. So I just wanted to go over the directions for how to do that. So hopefully you've printed this document out. If you haven't, print it out. If you don't have a printer, then just do split screen. Watch the video on one side and fill it out on the other. All right, starting up here, writing a multi-paragraph essay. Any literary analysis essay, including a multi-paragraph one, has to adhere to all of these. So we've done this already in the beginning of the year with the summer reading essay. So you should know that it's using MLA format. So I wonder if I could write. Let's see if I could write. MLA format. It must be written in present tense, and you're only using third person point of view, because you only want to say he, she, they. You don't want to say I. You don't want to say that horrible you. Purpose of each paragraph. The first paragraph is the introduction, intro to essay's main idea. The middle paragraphs provide evidence, and they also help to prove the theme. I'll cross that out. So prove theme. Okay, and the last paragraph summarizes the key points that you've made. And it also, you want to make your reader care. Makes reader care. And how many paragraphs total? They used to call it a 5-paragraph essay, but really 4 to as many as you want. But for our purposes, we're going to do 4 to 6 paragraphs. The entire essay, how many sentences should the intro paragraph be? We're looking at 6 to 8 sentences for the intro. For each main body paragraph, and you're going to have 2 to 4 main body paragraphs, you're going to have 8 to 12 sentences each. And the conclusion is just like the intro, it's another 6 to 8 sentences. The thesis statement we know is only 1 sentence. And the requirements that you need, first off, you do need your author. And for Romeo and Juliet, again, it's William Shakespeare. The title. It is a long play, so it should be italicized. Number 3, you need the answer to the prompt. And for our purposes, the prompt is just pick a theme to prove. So must have theme, and that's just going to be the theme that you're going to do for requirement 3. And then number 4 is your reasoning. Or your support. So if you have 4 paragraphs total, 2 main body paragraphs, you're going to have 2 reasons in your thesis statement. If you have a total of 5 paragraphs in your essay, you have 3 main body paragraphs, you're going to have 3 pieces of reasoning. To create a thesis statement, so come up with your theme, okay, and here's the example: lack of forgiveness results in human isolation. That's a theme, subject, action, verb, outcome. And put it together with your title, author, and supporting details. So in this example, we have lack of forgiveness involving friends, family, and self results in human isolation. So that means you would have 3 main body paragraphs that this person was using, if that you were using that as your thesis statement. Okay, the introductory paragraph. There are 3 main parts. Oops, I don't know why that moved. Whatever. 3 main parts to an intro paragraph. The first part is general information that's not related to Romeo and Juliet. So if you're thinking about some of the big topics that you might make a theme based upon for Romeo and Juliet, you might be thinking it's a story about love. It's a story about family. It's a story about impulse. Ooh, that's a good one. Miscommunication. Hatred. Isolation, deception, that's a good one. Trust. There's a bunch, but again, you're going to make a theme based on one big subject. How many sentences should that first part of your introduction be? It's 4 to 6 sentences, and it has nothing to do with Romeo and Juliet. So it is not, you can't mention Romeo and Juliet at all for the first 4 to 6 sentences of your essay. Next, how can you hook your reader within the first 4 to 6 sentences? You can do statistics. Okay, that's an interesting hook. You have to have a way to entice your reader to want to read your essay. So like if you're doing something about maybe deception, lies, maybe it could be like divorce rates or something like that, and you could tie it in. Or love, isolation. I mean, there's tons of things you could do, but you want to think about what your theme is that you're proving, and maybe find some statistics to help prove your idea, but not talking about Romeo and Juliet. You might want to find a fact. You might want to find a quote, but it cannot be not from Romeo and Juliet, because again, you cannot write about Romeo and Juliet for that first 4 to 6 sentences. You might want to do an anecdote, which is a little small story, or an analogy, like to another piece of literature or a movie, something along those lines. A lot of people like to do Disney movies, because any Disney movie, you're going to have 9 million themes that you see in other pieces of literature. So you might want to think about possibly doing that. Part 2 is to bridge the gap. And this is creating a sentence that takes your hook information and relates it to Romeo and Juliet. So this is the first time that you can talk about Romeo and Juliet. And this is going to be 1 to 2 sentences long. And then you're going to end with your thesis statement. And that's exactly what you're proving about Romeo and Juliet. So your main idea that you're proving, and we know thesis is only 1 sentence only. Okay, I do have an example of an A-level introduction here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it so we see the 3 different parts here. First part, children are meant to be seen and not heard. And there we have a quote from another piece of literature that's kind of cluing the reader in to the main idea in an interesting way. And then they follow it up with more sentences of their own, but again, not talking about the piece of literature that this person's writing about. So this old saying reflects a common belief from the austere Victorian age. Adults did not allow children to think for themselves or plan their own activities. Most people considered children ornamental instead of young humans with emotions and feelings. Okay, and that is all hook information that clues the reader onto the main idea without writing about the piece of literature. Now we have the bridge sentence, and I'm going to highlight that in a separate color. So parents made confused and unknowing children like Alice in Wonderland obey and believe everything they heard, which often proved detrimental to their well-being. Okay, so we're oh, poop. I thought that was going to be a highlighter. Whatever. We're just going to underline it. Okay, so that is the hook. That is the bridge sentence. And then the last sentence is our thesis statement. So this is where you get to the gist of it. Why are you talking about kids and not thinking for themselves and blah, blah, blah. So in Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, attempts by Alice's mom, Alice's sister, and the Queen of Hearts to repress Alice's desires results in her inability to grow up. And that's what this person is choosing to prove. And if you look at it, we have, I'm going to choose a different color. We have Alice's mother, Alice's sister, and Queen of Hearts. So that means this is going to be a 5-paragraph essay if this person were writing an essay based on that particular thesis statement. So one paragraph about the mother, one paragraph about the sister, one paragraph about the Queen of Hearts. Okay, transitions. So don't forget you do need transitions, and that is words or phrases that help writing to flow. Okay, and again, common examples. First, next, finally. Okay, or something along those lines. Remember, firstly, grr is not a word. Okay, secondly is a word, but firstly, oh, I spelled that wrong too, but whatever, it's not even a word, so don't use it. Where do transitions belong in an essay? It's the beginning of each main body paragraph and, okay, and the beginning of each supporting detail. Okay. I spelled that wrong too. Sorry, guys. So the beginning of each main body paragraph and the beginning of each supporting detail. That's where you put your transitions. So yes, you're going to have a lot of transitions in your essay. I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to stop this one here, and then you're going to finish up the notes on the next video.